From some of those witnesses who watched the crash happen and then raced in to help.
Yeah, 3 crew members on board that helicopter are still in critical condition after last night's crash in Sacramento.
ABC 7 News reporter J.R. Stone is live in the newsroom with new details about one of those who is injured. J.R.
Amma and Dan, tonight I talk with those who sprung into action after this helicopter crashed. Still, though, those on board are in the hospital with very serious and concerning injuries. Family members say Suzie Smith, a flight nurse on board this helicopter that crashed onto Highway 50, is one of 3 people from that aircraft in the hospital right now. Her family saying she is in critical condition with multiple injuries.
It was the loudest helicopter I've ever heard. It was actually, I was talking to my brother and it interrupted us. It's like, I'd never heard one that loud. It's kind of strange. You almost like feel it in the house.
Firefighters say the helicopter crew had just dropped off a patient at UC Davis Medical Center Monday night and was on their way back to their base in Redding when they crashed.
When you see any type of aviation accident, there's typically fatalities that come with it. So the fact that all 3 members were still alive at the point of contact, even though they are in critical condition, it's pretty impressive that they survived such an impact.
What may have helped those on this medical chopper survive, the quick response from not only first responders, but a group of people who had been driving on the highway, got out of their vehicles, and helped lift up the helicopter so rescues could be made.
I just ran up to the helicopter, grabbed a piece of the tail section there where there was a space, and when they started to tell us to lift, we started lifting it up.
We wouldn't know if it was going to, explode or if the fire was going to start or something, but that just made it where it was important to get them out of there as soon as possible in case it did.
So many people came together at this time. Just amazing to see that. As to the cause of this crash, that is still unknown at this time.
Tonight with new information about the helicopter crash on Highway 50. Take a look. New dashcam video shows the moment the medical helicopter descends on the highway. As you can see, it was a busy evening when the helicopter started falling and crashed on the freeway, luckily avoiding other vehicles. Tonight, we're learning new details on the condition of the woman trapped underneath the wreckage of that helicopter crash.
Yeah, her family has identified her as Suzie Smith, and tonight they're praying for a miracle. The family says she has severe injuries, mostly involving trauma to her brain. They say she was the flight nurse on the Reach medical helicopter that had just dropped off a patient at UC Davis Medical Center when it crashed. Smith and the other 2 victims are now in critical condition. And new tonight, we're learning more about the strangers who jumped into action to try and save lives.
And we have video from last night showing dozens of people coming together, lifting the aircraft to help reach crew members trapped.
Tonight, ABC 10's Garjpal Sangha spoke to the heroes who say they happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, Chris and Laura, it is a powerful 15-20 strangers shoulder to shoulder lifting a helicopter off a trapped victim. Last night, Chris spoke with some people who were stepping up to help, and tonight we spoke with a couple who described what they saw as they were seconds away from the helicopter crashing. The moment a medical helicopter slammed into a Sacramento freeway, and the moment strangers became heroes.
When it was coming down, I looked at it and I said, this isn't good. When people were needed, they all stepped up. Everybody that was nearby and heard that man's voice knew that they just moved forward and started to go to work.
Kenneth DiCorzenzo and his neighbor, Alvin, were part of that group. Ordinary people doing the extraordinary.
I think it was just the idea that there's something happened here, this is an emergency, they need help, just step in and do what needs to be done.
His wife Terry recorded the scene while helping at the crash site. She still can't believe how close they were to disaster.
We were in the right place at the right time.
They don't think what they did was anything special. They credit first responders for the fast response.
The emergency responders got there very, very quickly. Fire department was right there right away. The highway patrol was right on top of it.
One of the women trapped in the wreckage until bystanders helped lift the helicopter was Suzie Smith. Her family tells ABC 10 they're praying for a miracle as she faces severe injuries.
And we really hope that the people will recover. They'll be okay.
And the DiCorzenzos will never forget the teamwork and the humanity they witnessed that day.
One human being helping another, or a group of human beings helping others. And it was nice to know that it's still like that.
Yeah, and the couple don't see themselves as heroes, just people who did what had to be done. Chris and Laura.
Yeah, so beautifully said, Garsh Paul. A wonderful story of humanity, and we certainly think of them as heroes. We are so thankful for them.
Realizing the chopper was having problems, KCRA 3's Mike Cherry spoke with Live Copter 3 pilot Dan Oppenheim to get his perspective.
Emergency landings, forced landings, emergency procedures are practiced routinely. Commercial pilots, well, private pilots too, need to demonstrate proficiency in all kinds of different emergency procedures. The one that's very common is an auto rotation. That is practiced routinely. An auto rotation is a power off landing. I don't know for sure that that's the case that happened here. I don't know that there was a power loss. However, if there is a power loss, a pilot is very limited in where they can go, especially when they're low altitude and low airspeed.
Dan also tells us that he generally flies about 1,000 feet in the air to give himself more space to glide into a safe spot if necessary in case of an emergency. So we have been looking into air ambulances and accidents based on data from the NTSB and the FAA.
In KCRA 3's Andrea Flores has been checking out those numbers, joining us now with what she found. Andrea.
So I've been digging into this, and there have been 2 other incidents involving Reach choppers in our area. So here's what we know. The first was in Apple Valley back in November of 2015. It happened during a firefighting training for patient loading and unloading. A towel that was unsecured near the landing site was sucked into a tail rotor that had a cover on it. There were no injuries, and it was only about 2 to 3 feet off the ground when this happened. The second incident was just a few years back in December of 2022. During a cruise flight at dusk, they encountered a flock of birds at about 1,500 feet. The pilot was wearing night vision goggles, and they tried to climb to avoid the birds. That's when they heard a loud bang. The pilot then felt pain in their leg. The aircraft began to vibrate, and the pilot initiated a landing in a nearby field without incident. The bird hit the windshield, and it caused damage to the windscreen, but other than that, there were no major malfunctions, and there were no reports of any injuries. So again, the NTSB is investigating the crash, and they say the Airbus EC-130T2 helicopter was operated by Reach Air Medical Services. Golston.
All right, Andrea, thank you. We're going to continue to follow this story on air and online as we get new information on the condition of the 3 injured crew members and the investigation onto what happened aboard that helicopter.